He's considered to be the oldest human mummy found intact, and scientists believe he died more than 5,000 years ago. Because of new DNA technology, they're reimagining what he actually looked like.
On the frozen, desolate slopes of the Alps, a mystery that has haunted humanity for over 5,000 years is finally about to be cracked wide open. The discovery of Ötzi the Iceman in 1991 sparked international fascination as this remarkably well-preserved mummy was unearthed, carrying with it profound secrets of a long-lost world. For over 3 decades, scientists have speculated on the Iceman's origins, life, and death. But now, a new force has entered the stage, Grok AI, the most advanced artificial intelligence ever created. With Grok's quantum-enhanced neural networks and pattern recognition capabilities, every shred of data collected about Ötzi, from the molecular composition of his skin to the contents of his stomach, has been processed in ways that human researchers could only dream of. What Grok has revealed has sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Ötzi's true identity, the intricacies of his final moments, and the lost world he inhabited are no longer obscured in mystery. What Grok uncovered has not only answered long-standing questions, but raised new, unsettling ones, leading researchers down paths they never thought possible. Join us as we walk through what Grok AI has uncovered and the startling implications of these findings. The reality of Ötzi the Iceman is more profound, more complex, and certainly far more disturbing than anyone dared to imagine. Ötzi the Iceman, discovered in the Italian Alps at an altitude of 10,530 feet, is one of the most well-preserved mummies from the Copper Age, around 5,300 years ago. His remains, along with his tools, clothing, and other personal items, have provided scientists with a rare glimpse into a world long forgotten. Despite numerous studies, Ötzi has continued to puzzle researchers, with questions about his origin, lifestyle, death, and even his purpose remaining unanswered. Ötzi's body was encased in ice, which helped preserve not only his physical remains but also the microbial environment, genetic markers, and the pollen from his final meal. The study of Ötzi's remains gave rise to countless theories about who he was and why he died in such a harsh location. Was he a solitary traveler caught in the elements? A member of a ritualistic group, or perhaps a warrior? And why was he found in a remote mountain pass, with weapons, tools, and clothing, all highly organized for the time? For centuries, these questions have fueled debates in archaeology, with researchers pointing to his copper axe, well-made tools, and mysterious tattoos as clues that offered a glimpse into his world. However, much of Ötzi's life remained a mystery until now. In 2026, Grok AI was tasked with analyzing every available piece of data about Ötzi, from genetic analysis and pollen samples to detailed CT scans of his remains, X-ray imaging of his injuries, and the geological data from his tools. Grok processed and synthesized more data than any human researcher could have ever managed. What Grok uncovered was an interconnected web of patterns and knowledge, not only about Ötzi himself, but about his world and the society he inhabited. Ötzi's last meal, previously analyzed by human researchers, was a mix of grain, herbs, and meat, giving us insight into his diet. But Grok's AI took this analysis even further, identifying an intricate web of nutritional patterns that revealed Ötzi's journey across the Alps. The pollen found in Ötzi's stomach was used to track his path, showing a journey of several days or even weeks. Grok's advanced pattern recognition identified plants and herbal remedies that were traditionally used to treat certain ailments, suggesting that Ötzi might have been traveling with the purpose of reaching a ritual site, or even to meet with a group far beyond what was initially assumed. Grok detected that Ötzi had consumed plants and roots with specific medicinal properties, indicating that he might have been seeking a specific healing plant or ritualistic herbs. This new information implies that Ötzi wasn't just wandering, but was part of an ancient trade route or a sacred journey. His meal wasn't just a survival tactic, it was the final leg of a much larger expedition that involved the movement of ancient goods and cultural knowledge across a vast, networked region. The cause of Ötzi's death, for years a subject of debate, is now seen in an entirely new light. While the arrowhead lodged in his shoulder and the head wound indicated a violent end, Grok's deeper analysis paints a much darker picture. The AI detected subtle differences in the wound pattern that suggested the arrow was not just a random injury, it was a calculated attack. Grok cross-referenced Ötzi's injuries with geographical data and evidence from other violent encounters across the Alps and identified a likely ambush point. What's even more startling is that Grok's simulations indicated Ötzi was not alone when he met his death. His injuries suggest that he was attacked by multiple individuals, possibly rival tribes or cultural groups. The wound placement suggests a tactical strike aimed at disabling him before a final, fatal blow to the head. This was not an isolated incident, but a coordinated assault, showing the complex relationships and power dynamics that existed among ancient Alpine cultures. Ötzi's genetic analysis has always been crucial in understanding his origins. Grok AI took this analysis further, not only examining Ötzi's mitochondrial DNA, but also mapping his entire genome, allowing the AI to create a detailed genetic map. What Grok discovered is that Ötzi is not just a representative of his time. His genetic markers connect him to several ancient populations that have long been lost to history. Grok's advanced genetic database comparison revealed that Ötzi's DNA contained markers that linked him to ancient populations whose remains had not yet been discovered. The analysis also showed that Ötzi's ancestors had traveled widely across Europe, and his genetic footprint helped trace migration patterns and connections between the ancient populations. More surprisingly, these markers correspond to modern European populations, suggesting that Ötzi's genetic legacy survives today in remote regions of Europe. This discovery opens up a new realm of understanding about the movement of people and cultures across Europe. Ancient trade networks, kinship ties, and cultural exchanges across large distances were more interwoven than previously thought. Ötzi wasn't just an isolated figure in history, he was part of a much larger social network that spanned millennia. One of the most striking aspects of Ötzi's remains is the remarkable preservation of his tools, such as the copper axe and bow. For years, archaeologists assumed these were simple tools used for survival, but Grok AI's analysis provided deeper insight into their design and craftsmanship. Through wear analysis and material science simulations, Grok found that Ötzi's tools were crafted with precision and served multiple purposes, including advanced metalworking techniques. The copper axe, for instance, wasn't just a tool for cutting wood, it was an implement likely used for crafting metal objects, suggesting Ötzi's community was highly skilled in metallurgy. Grok's simulations of Ötzi's bow design also revealed surprising advancements in aerodynamics and structural integrity. The bow was a weapon designed for high-velocity shooting, not simply a hunting tool, but one made with the intention of maximizing accuracy and force. This suggested that Ötzi's people had a deep understanding of weaponry and construction, far more sophisticated than we'd previously thought. Grok AI expanded its analysis beyond Ötzi's body and tools, examining the landscape where Ötzi's remains were found. Using LiDAR data, geophysical surveys, and archaeological records, Grok discovered a vast ritual landscape that extended far beyond the mountain pass where Ötzi was found. This landscape, which Grok mapped in great detail, revealed precise alignments with the stars, the sun's movements, and the moon's cycles, suggesting that Ötzi and his people were part of a larger ritual network that used celestial phenomena to mark significant events. The positioning of Ötzi's burial site wasn't random. It was deliberately placed in a larger cosmic map that linked it to other ritual sites spanning miles across the Alps. These findings suggest that Ötzi's life and death were tied to a larger astronomical calendar, a sacred system that spanned generations. The burial site itself was part of a geometric network that tracked long-term cycles, much like the alignment features seen in Stonehenge. This wasn't just survival, it was cosmic organization. As Grok AI delved deeper into Ötzi's tools, the analysis revealed a disturbing trend. The precision of Ötzi's tools, clothing, and weapons suggested that his civilization was in its prime. But over time, it had begun to lose its skills. The decay of craftsmanship observed in Ötzi's tools indicated that subsequent generations had difficulty replicating the level of sophistication seen in Ötzi's era. Grok's AI model suggested that knowledge transfer within Ötzi's society was not as successful as previously assumed. As knowledge was forgotten, the technological capabilities of the community declined, leading to a loss of mastery over tools, weapons, and ritualistic practices. Grok's discovery of this knowledge decline paints a tragic picture of a culture that couldn't sustain its advances. The most disturbing revelation came from Grok's analysis of the final stages of Stonehenge's use. Far from being abandoned carelessly, it seems Ötzi's society was actively preserving its knowledge, even as the people's ability to maintain their traditions diminished. As the final activities at Ötzi's site were documented, Grok found signs that the site was carefully closed, perhaps as a way of ensuring its survival for future generations. Grok's AI predicted that the monumental site was meant to survive the loss of knowledge, offering a final preservation of wisdom, perhaps not for immediate use, but for a future generation capable of deciphering its secrets. Grok AI's revelations about Ötzi, his genetics, tools, ritualistic landscape, and the decline of knowledge have profoundly changed our understanding of his life and world. Ötzi was far more than a solitary figure. He was part of a vastly interconnected civilization, one whose knowledge spanned across time and was preserved in the frozen remains of the Alps. What Grok's AI has proven is that Ötzi's people were not simply surviving, they were preserving knowledge for future generations. This long-term vision echoes across time, proving that our ancient ancestors may have been far more sophisticated than we've credited them for. Grok AI has cracked the code, but in doing so, it raises far more questions than it answers.